Welcome to Finding Family DNA, the show about finding and connecting birth families, with your host, Jay Rosenzweig, founder and CEO of birthparentfinder.com. And now, here's Jay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jay Rosenzweig, the founder and CEO of birthparentfinder.com, and welcome to episode 30 of Finding Family DNA. And I have my co-host with me, Misty Gillis. Misty, we've been busy, haven't we?
We've been very busy, Jay.
I know, and we went to Chicago last week, and we did a presentation to 300 people at the Drake Hotel on DNA. And Misty, what was your impressions of all that?
It was a great conference. It was a great place to present. I felt like people were very receptive and enjoyed our presentation, which was wonderful. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun, and it was, of course, lovely seeing you again.
Right, and we're going to show some pictures of us dressed up. I had to wear, it was a black tie event. I kind of wore a tuxedo. I'm not big on bow ties, but I wore a black tie. And the World Association of Detectives does a great job. And our DNA presentation, I thought it was great. The feedback I got was great because they're not used to seeing something like that. The private investigators from around the world do not really know how to use the Ancestry database. And it's a great thing. And everyone should actually have a full subscription to Ancestry. And also I want to mention, not to change the subject, I rebranded my private investigation business. We did a whole TikTok thing with Rosie. My partner is IRL Rosie for my PI business, and we rebranded it basically to catfish and romance scams, digital and social media investigation, and harassment and bullying. And we've been in business for a month, and we've already taken in a bunch of cases where people are being harassed. So that's just another brand that I have in addition to Birth Parent Finder. And I've been doing this for over 40 years, so I'm not giving up, Misty.
Good.
And I know that you eventually want to get your PI license in Illinois, don't you?
I want to look into it. I know it's very strict. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, so I'm not sure on the feasibility of doing it, but it is something I want to look into.
And I think you should, because like I said, you have the it factor in this business. There's no doubt about it. I don't think there's anyone, and I've worked with a lot of people who work with DNA, and I haven't found anyone better to work with than you. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
No, and I keep saying that. So we're going to talk about what's going on today with our guest. But this is a situation where this woman was raised by her parents in a Jewish family, I guess, back east in New Jersey. And where was it?
Long Island.
Oh my God. By the way, this is my fault. This is Lisa Brenner, everyone. Boy, that's what happens when you're out of town for a week and you have jet lag. Everyone, this is Lisa Brenner. Lisa Brenner is an actress. She's a producer. She's a writer and everything. She's got 70 IMDb credits and I only have 8. So there you go. And I know you live in Los Angeles. You've got a great family and you've had a great career. And I want to thank your PR people for putting this together. I was telling Misty, I got a call from your PR person saying, hey, we want to have our client who has a movie coming out based on her life with DNA. Basically, she found out that she was not adopted, but that the man who raised her was not her actual birth father, but it was the man that raised her. She got everything she knew from this guy. We won't get into that right now, but Lisa, welcome to our show, and thank you for being here. I know you're in Cleveland, Ohio for the premiere of your movie, and we have a lot of questions for you. But what we want to ask you first is, like you said, I don't know why I thought New Jersey for some reason.
A lot of people equate Long Island, New Jersey. They're both considered bridge and tunnel. Like we were the bridge and tunnel people hanging out in the city growing up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thanks for that.
Exactly. So we've had a lot of cases. As a matter of fact, we've had probably 4 of our 30 podcasts were regarding people who did not know the man who raised them was not their birth father. They took a DNA test and surprise. So before we get into the DNA test, let's talk about your life growing up in Long Island, which I really never spent any time in. So you obviously had a wonderful relationship with your parents. Let's talk about growing up in Long Island just for a little bit.
Well, I was a professional actress growing up, and my mom would drive me to the city almost every day for my auditions. Pertaining to the movie, I was always told my whole life as an actress, I don't look Jewish. So I had to change my last name, to not seem Jewish because I didn't look stereotypically Jewish. And so it was always a very weird thing for me. That was the only thing that felt off in my life, why every person used to say to me, "You don't look Jewish."
And that's interesting. That's very interesting. And being in LA I grew up in Chicago, but being in LA for 43 years, I followed my sister out here, and she's in show business. She's a little older than me now, but my last name is Rosenzweig. When she was 20 years old, she changed her last name to Ross.
Yeah.
There you go. She did not want Rosenzweig because there are a lot of anti-Semitic people out there.
Yes.
So she, growing up in LA and looking Jewish, I never really, it wasn't a thing. I mean, I have kids that, I don't know what in Europe, what is a stereotypical Jewish look? I mean, when they say you didn't look Jewish, what does that mean?
Unfortunately, I can tell you exactly what it used to mean in the business. It was dark hair, dark eyes, sometimes a larger nose. It's so awful. All the stereotypes that you would think about. And they're still prevalent today, by the way, in a lot of movies that drive me insane. But yeah, my whole life, if there was a role for a Jewish character, that someone who was usually Italian would end up playing the role. And I always said, when I grow up, I'm going to play a Jewish person and show a different image of what a Jewish person looks like. And then I find out by my genetics, okay, there is a little thing there.
And you know what? Look at Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
How many he's not Jewish.
I know.
How many Jewish roles has he played in his career and he's won awards for? It's like, and he's not Jewish. And it's and by the way, I grew up in Skokie, Illinois. That was back in the day, it was the highest percentage of Jewish people per capita in the country. And yeah, it was either you were Jewish or you were Catholic. And that's one place where Jews and Catholics got along famously. And that was a great childhood growing up there. And obviously you had a bat mitzvah, is that correct?
Yes.
And it was actually, that was a big part of the movie, by the way.
I have to say, the movie is not autobiographical. There is a lot of truth to the movie, and it is based on my own personal story, but there were a lot of things added for dramatic purposes. So don't think of my bat mitzvah as like something that actually
happened. No, of course not. I mean,
to give away too much.
you have to exaggerate and embellish it for Hollywood, and otherwise no one would really get it or just think it was boring. But Misty saw the movie, and really, I loved it.
So did I.
And
thank you so much.
I thought it was a really feel-good movie. It was really, it told the story very well. It was easy to follow along with. It was funny. There were times I found myself laughing. It was emotional. I had a lot of moving parts to it, but it was really well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It makes my heart so happy to hear that.
But you dropped a lot of F-bombs in that movie, didn't you?
I know. Unfortunately, I do.
Is that really you, though?
Yeah, but I mean, so before we even filmed, I was warned that if I keep them in, I worry about the ratings or which streamers might want to buy it or, all of that. But there are so many scenes or the use of the word is essential to the comedy of the situation that I couldn't just like bleep it out or use something else because then it just wouldn't work.
The scene in the kitchen with the DNA results when your daughters were there and that when the F-bomb was dropped there, I let out a chuckle. That was good comedic timing.
So going back to your real life and finding out that the man who raised you wasn't your actual biological father, what year was that?
So that happened about 10 years ago. So in the movie, it all takes place in over 2 weeks.
Right.
But in reality, it was, I'd say about 6 years, like all the stuff that happened. So, as you know, like these DNA tests, they take a long time, 6 to 8 weeks. In my movie, it's about a day. It's kind of
Right.
an overnight rapid DNA test. So yeah, 10
So
years.
was it a coworker in real life that told you to take a DNA test, or did you do this on your own?
No, I heard an ad for one of the tests that's no longer available. I heard an ad for it on the radio, and I just thought it was so cool that by spitting into this little tube, they can track your relatives across, generations upon generations. I thought the whole thing was like, this can't work. And if it did work, I'm not even going to know anyone.
I'm
And
curious to know
so
what test that was.
it was 23andMe.
They're still
Like,
around, by the way.
oh, are they? I know like they had issues, but I don't want to like talk
Yeah.
about it.
No. It's
That was
fine.
the
I mean,
first
they
one I
got bought
tried.
out. Everything's fine. We talk about it
Okay.
publicly. Misty, what do you want to say about 23andMe? I know you know that area.
I mean, 23andMe is still a pawn deficient if you're looking to find your ancestral roots, your relatives, and things like that. I know they were concerned about the sale of information, but my understanding is that's been dealt with and it's back to being kind of what it was.
Okay.
So I have my data on 23andMe. I've not deleted it or removed it or anything like that. I'm comfortable with them.
Okay.
And it's funny. This morning we had a client who hired us. Actually, we were on TV. Misty was on TV last Sunday in Chicago. She
Cool.
filmed with WGN TV through Nexstar, and she filmed it a year and a half ago, and it just aired Sunday.
Oh
And
my
then we got all these. Yeah, you were great on that show, Misty. By the way,
Thank you so much.
that was Larry Pottish's backstory. You filmed in April of 2024. Is that right?
That's correct.
And was finally aired, and we got a bunch of leads. We got one sale from that, and get a load of this. We were basically solved this case on the maternal side, not through DNA. She took a 23andMe test, and the results are awful. We just want to show the relatives. We want to show the relatives the connection. And Misty, you looked at it this morning. You can't show the connection with 23andMe. So we're going to have the client take an ancestry test because that supposed half-sister took an ancestry DNA test. And Lisa, I'm sure when you did take an ancestry DNA test, and I'm sure you probably saw more relatives there, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's what confirmed everything, ancestry. What happened also, not only did it confirm it with my half brother, all of that is true in the movie, but it was through ancestry that the biological father's real son, I don't know if the terms his real son, the son he grew up with as his dad, he went on to Ancestry to see if he had any relatives because he knew that his father was a doctor back in the day and donated. So he was assuming he'd have some. And so there I am. And my half brother. And a whole
so
bunch
Misty, you know that based on this story, this was a donor.
Yes.
And and we normally don't take donor cases. And we talk about it all the time. We don't take donor cases because you're an anonymous donor for a reason.
Yeah.
And with obviously when these people donate their DNA, they donate their sperm, they don't realize that these DNA sites are out there later on. And there's no more privacy. And we would only take these cases if our client has major medical issues and they need to know medical history because they're not provide when you go to the sperm bank and when you go to the donor clinic, you're not going to back then they were not going to give you medical history of the individual and it's limited. So whatever information they can get is helpful. And also there's a lot of trauma and we could talk about that a little bit later if you want. It's pretty crazy. Misty, I know you had a question for Lisa.
I've got two questions for you, actually. So now that this much time has passed, a decade has passed in your journey, how has it shaped your personal self-identity when it comes to your ancestral origins and your Jewish heritage? Has that changed at all? Has it evolved? Or is it kind of just something that let me know about it.
Wow. So much. Well, when it first happened, it was devastating. My world was shattered. My identity, I didn't know who I was. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I thought I got all of these things from my father. Who is this other person? And then, it's like you go through the stages of grief or recovery or whatever it is. And then as an actor, I realized that when I would get a script, I'd be like, well, that's not me. Well, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I can't connect with that. All of a sudden, I realized that could be me. That could be my family. I do connect with that. It just like opened up my brain to the possibility of what I am and who I am. And like, I realized I put all of these limitations on myself, whether it was intellectually or physically or like health, what I thought my health history was, to suddenly be like, oh no, none of that's true. Like half of that,
shattering.
Yeah, everything you've been told, half of you is just an unknown thing. So yeah, it was kind of liberating in a sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I went through all of that, and now I'm at a point where it's just a story. It really is just a really kind of weird, crazy thing that could only happen to me. For a billion years, I never would have predicted this would happen.
Right.
And so now it's just a story, and like it's become very inspirational for people. I don't know if you know the term NPE,
yes.
But the term that I just recently learned, being an NPE and speaking to other people of this community. And it's just been really cool to connect with other people who went through this very unique, crazy, earth-shattering experience.
And NPE is a big part of our business, and that's why people hire us.
You have such a positive outlook.
Yeah, at this point, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's just like, I've come to realize, like, my family's my family. And I've grown to love my bio half brothers and sisters and stuff. I don't know if they're considered family, but it's just an interesting thing. And thankfully, I never had to deal with the pain of confronting my dad because he had already passed away.
Right.
But the pain really came from, like, with me and my mom and I have a brother and sister in real life too.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it's just, I think we all just kind of agree this is just an interesting story.
A little facet of your life that's just part of your journey, I suppose. Yeah.
So I want to give a quote from the movie, and then after that, we're going to show a clip. So in the movie, there's a quote from you. It says, "Just because you're related doesn't make you family."
Mm-hmm.
That quote stood out to me. Now, in your real life, that you truly believe that, obviously, correct?
I definitely believe that. Definitely believe that. Sometimes it's more painful to have the family you're born with as the ones you don't feel is your family or you don't get along with. And I know so many people and of all different communities that have had to create their own family for whatever reason, if they were shunned by their family for sexual reasons, religious reasons. So I think my movie also speaks to them too, but I definitely believe that family is what we create, and it's where your heart is versus DNA. And if it's both, you're like even more blessed that the family you're born with is the family that you love and loves you.
That's right.
Very well said. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to show a clip from the movie One Big Happy Family.
So, did you get your results?
I don't need some website to tell me I'm a neurotic Jew with more than enough family to drive me insane.
You have new relatives.
Happy birthday, Mom!
I have something to tell you.
What?
Now is not the right time.
Grandma's in big trouble.
Sarah, I did this DNA test. It says we have a half brother.
My baby sister.
Oh, you know, I don't believe in DNA, but you will always be a part of my spiritual family.
Mm-hmm. Another. If my father is not my father, then who the heck am I?
You're becoming a real Meshuggah, you know that?
I'm crazy to want to know the truth of my existence.
Are you putting this self-help crap in her head?
How am I brought into all this?
I can't just let this go.
Here we go again.
Love doesn't care about DNA. Love makes its own family.
We are the best family!
This is Jay Rosenzweig, the founder and CEO of BirthParentFinder.com. If you're looking to find your birth parents or anyone in your birth family, give us a call at 866-572-3463 or go to our website, BirthParentFinder.com. We're back with Finding Family DNA and Lisa Brenner, the actress, star of One Big Happy Family. And I want to mention that the other star from this movie was Linda Lavin, a very, very popular actress from Alice. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she passed away probably about 10 months ago. And this was her last film, wasn't it?
It was her last film. Thankfully, we had a little screening in LA in October, and she loved it. And she took pictures of herself in the audience. She was one of my closest friends because of this movie. We really bonded. I loved her so much. And then out of nowhere, a few days after Christmas, she passed away.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And whoever did the casting for this movie, I didn't memorize that. They did a great job.
Barb
that's one of the...
Which one? Her name's Barb Stordahl and Angela Terry in LA. And then we had Jeff Johnson in Utah, where we shot. We shot in Utah.
Oh.
Any reason why Utah?
The tax rebates. It's very inexpensive. But coincidentally, it's also the birthplace of Ancestry.com.
Right.
Yeah. That's a very cool coincidence.
Yeah, we go to the Roots Tech conference there every year.
Cool.
Yeah, it's 30,000 people a day, and I represent the media, and every time I apply to be a speaker, they always turn me down. I don't know why, but I don't take it personal because there's just so many people that speak at that conference. But it is what it is. I better come up with an interesting topic presentation next time. But we'll get something going. So Misty, what's your question for Lisa?
I wanted to know how your relationship has developed with your biological siblings and the siblings that you were raised with, as well as the dynamic of the relationship with your mother. You could see that there was obviously some pain there at the idea of being lied to or having that information withheld from you. How did your relationship change as time has passed now?
Well, my mom is my best friend in the whole entire world. We speak at least twice a day. It's kind of crazy. She lives in New York. I live in LA. And so when this happened, we talked it out. Like, there's no stone left unturned with this. She understood my pain, but also I understood what she was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just such a different time back then, the way fertility clinics worked and the veil of secrecy and shame that was surrounded infertility that with my modern mindset, it was very hard for me to wrap my brain around. And, I was able to really hear her and feel her pain, and she was able to do the same for me. And at the end of the day, she's my mom. She's
right.
She's the same person. I'm the same person. How I got here that's a different story. But yeah, with my half brothers and sisters, we just kind of love each other. It's a friend, like they're my very good friends. My younger daughter recently had her bat mitzvah, and two of the half siblings were there.
Oh.
So it really was like art imitating life or life imitating art. I'm not quite sure.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we're all good friends. I've taken myself off, 23andMe, just because I felt like I was so inundated with tons of relatives that was like, now you're my fourth cousin. Now I have a fifth cousin. Now I have a third cousin. I'm like, oh my God, I don't care anymore.
I agree with you. I don't engage with those people. That's like, if you're that far back, it's like, there's no reason to have any contact with any of them. It could get very toxic, and who needs the drama?
Exactly.
So let's talk about, at what point did you decide to write a screenplay and not do a documentary or write a book? Because a lot of our clients, they write books, and probably because you're an actress, I get it. But what made you decide to write that screenplay, not anything else?
Well, because I'm an actress and I've read a million screenplays, that's just my natural, that's how I think. That's how, if I was going to write anything, it would be that. And at first, I didn't believe that I could do it. And so I reached out to a friend, a screenwriter friend. He started writing something, and I'm like, "Ugh, that's not my voice." And then I reached out to two other people. They started, I'm like, that's still not my voice. And finally, my husband, who's a producer and writer and director, he said to me, there's only one person who's going to tell your story, and that's you. So just do it. And so I reached out to a very close screenwriter friend. I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, just write it beginning to end. She's like, I don't care where it's going. Just write it, get from A to Z, and let me read it. And I wrote this crazy thing. And she called me up. She's like, okay, I don't know why this is so good, but it is. You have to work on this. And so that was it. It was during pandemic and there was no work happening. So I just sat on my couch with my dog, with my daughter on her homeschool Zoom. And I just kept writing and writing. And here we are.
Did you find the process of writing the screenplay kind of cathartic? I know we've heard people say that as they write through their story, it kind of helps them process a little more of the details. Is that something you experienced, or were you already kind of, I don't want to say content, but were you already, feeling whole with the situation, that it wasn't necessarily an emotional process for you?
Right. It didn't feel like an emotional thing. Oddly enough, what's starting to feel very cathartic now is all of a sudden, and I think I wrote this script maybe like 3 years ago or whenever pandemic was. It wasn't until about 3 weeks ago that suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I'm telling the world my story. Like, really?
So it just hit you. It's like, oh, wow, I've let this out into the world and this is my personal journey.
Oh my gosh. And doing all these podcasts and telling people all these, like, this is really personal.
Right.
Like, what did I do? I'm sorry to my family. But yeah, I think now I'm really like, it's that kind of cathartic thing that I'd been hearing about.
Right.
And what's amazing is that you got this thing out there pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known people that work on screenplays and ideas for years and nothing ever makes. So you obviously, you have the connections, you knew what you were doing, and that's something really to be proud of, because doesn't always happen. And then it's premieres October 3rd in AMC theaters around the country. And that's pretty awesome. And you're in Cleveland for the premiere of the movie there. And I can't wait to see the reviews. I know we gave it really high marks.
Yes.
And
thank you.
It's pretty awesome. We have a few more minutes. So I went over this movie from beginning to end. I watched the credits. I wanted to see if I was connected to anyone associated with your movie. No. Sometimes I know people that are in other movies, but what I did notice, you wrote the song that was in the credits.
Yes.
I don't want to get too technical here. I had Misty look it up. There's a song called My Yoni. And then I had to look up what that meant. And that's, I'll have our audience look up Yoni, Y-O-N-I.
How did you,
and I don't even know where you came up with that without going into details, but it has to do with being a strong female from the female inner body parts. How's that, Misty?
That's perfect. Keep it PG-13. Yeah.
There you go. So where did you even come up with that?
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So I wrote the scene and I just wrote, and Sarah sings her song. And I just thought, okay, we'll just leave it at that. And my husband's like, okay, well, we actually need this song. And I'm like, I can't write a song. And my best friend, she's like, yeah, you could. Just write the song. I'm like, I can't write a song. She's like, yes, you could. Like, actually, you can write the song. Just go write the song. And I go in my car and I'm just humming. Now, granted, I have written many songs to my dog. So I have a litany of songs that I have dedicated to my dog, Cosmo. So I'm like, I'll go from there. I'll just, and one thing led to another. And my daughter, Hannah, she's now 19, she said something. I'm like, well, what do I call it? Because I didn't want to use the actual biological term. And she was like, well, everyone uses the word yoni now, Mom. I'm like, perfect. So it evolved to the most bizarre, wacky thing.
And do people even notice that?
The song or
that song, that's that meaning?
Well, I did add a line in it where Linda said, I hope you're not singing a song about your you know what? And then daughter says, we call it a yoni, Mom.
And that's something you learn every day.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy. So you have a daughter named Hannah. My daughter's Hannah without the H at the end. Do you have an H at the end?
We have an H at the end, palindrome.
Yeah, that way spelled forward and backwards the same way, right?
Exactly.
There you go. My daughter is 29 now, and she's having a baby in January. So,
congratulations!
And she's actually, I don't want to brag about my daughter, but she's been cast in a movie. Believe it or not, she's not even an actress.
Wow!
It's a short film about Mein Kampf. Don't even go there.
Oh my gosh!
And it's on hold probably because she's very pregnant right now. So I don't know if she's going to be getting that role. But her husband is my son-in-law is an actor. Mostly theater and UCLA acting degree. And he's always in North Hollywood theater. And she was reading with him something. And the director of that short film happened to be there. And she just noticed how wonderful my daughter was. So it's like, it's the Hollywood. It's like, by the way, are your daughters in show business or?
Yes, actually, my older daughter's in the movie. It's one of my favorite scenes. She plays the checkout kid, the paper or plastic.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's my older daughter. And my little one, it's such a quick thing. If you didn't know her, it would go over your head. But it's the opening scene at the flashback bat mitzvah, and she flicks the yarmulke off of the kid's head and says,
Yeah.
That's my little one.
And the movie was so much fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know you have to go get ready for your premiere in Cleveland, but one last thing. I know Misty asked her questions, but one last thing. Any message that you would like to share to anyone who's going through what you went through, finding out that the man who raised you is actually not your birth father and having to go through all that. So what message would you like to share with our audience or anyone out there?
Well, that's pretty huge. I think my message would be that your family really is who raised you, and your family who raised you is who made you who you are. I mean, everyone has such different ways of like what has happened, or there was trauma or physical trauma or whatever. But I guess the message of my movie, it's all about love. Like that is the message. So really, whoever loved you is your family.
That's beautiful.
100% true. And I wish more people out there on the social media platform who have the other side of the view would realize what you said and watch your movie, One Big Happy Family, which comes out October 3rd.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being with us today. I know we had some technical issues, but we overcame them. And I hope to meet you one day. I know that there's not going to be a premiere in LA for that movie, but again, both Misty and I saw it. And I hope you get a lot of awards, and I hope it gets the critics love it. So
I hope it gets the credit it deserves. It's really a fantastic movie.
Thank you so much.
Well, be safe out there, and we'll see everyone next time.
If you want exclusive bonus segments of these episodes, join our Patreon at patreon.com/findingfamilydna. And if you are looking to start the journey of finding your family DNA, just go to birthparentfinder.com. Thank you for joining us on Finding Family DNA.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars.